Welcome to Ongoing Conversations with William, Precious, and Melissa. Good. It's really weird because we're on two different time zones. I want to say good morning because it's still morning for me, and you
Right,
guys,
And we want to
in the
say good afternoon.
afternoon,
right.
right?
Good
So
morning
whatever,
and afternoon,
right?
wherever you may be joining us from.
It's
Oh,
right.
but because it's a global conversation, maybe we should get used to saying good
Good day.
morning, good afternoon, and good night. Come on
Tonight,
Right,
now.
right,
right,
right.
We
There
never
we
know
so
where
go.
they're listening from. And so
right.
wherever you are in the world, we hope is good.
Right.
Right,
Well, that part, right?
right.
Right. Um, so yes. So I am William Brown, and ongoing conversation is a show about the conversations that go on, and they go on because they're important, right? And so the more that we are willing to continue on, stay with these conversations, I believe we become better and more complete. So
Yeah.
as we do, we will introduce our our co-hosts, starting with Precious.
Hello, my name is Precious. I am a mom of five amazing young people. I am a wife of 19 years. I am a author, a poet, a playwright, and I can go on and on. But who I am is somebody who is on assignment. And my assignment is to make you wealthy, WELLTHY, which means thy well, because we came to be the answer for somebody. So my job is to show you just how beautiful you are and how everything that you've been through matters, because that's what it is to show up. And so I come here just to celebrate with two of my closest soul friends so
Mm,
that we can celebrate the different parts on the journey that got us to who we are, that introduced us more to ourselves. And so however we can introduce you more to who you were created to be, that is why we show up. And so that is my intention, and I enjoy the ride.
wonderful, Melissa.
Alrighty, well, as you know, my name is Melissa Price. I am a mother of two, wife of one, and see, Susan, I gotta throw that in there again. It never gets
No,
old.
no sister wife going on here,
Right?
right? No.
No, only got one husband.
I got to steal that,
Um,
Melissa.
I am an author, an artist. I'm a creative spirit, a positive spirit. Um, and I think my greatest lessons in life really wrap around the idea that there is a blessing in every single lesson. The things that we go through in life, whether they're those valley moments or those peak moments, we learn and we grow. And I've just become so into the idea that sharing what we go through with one another that's leaving your mark, and it's changing the pace of the universe, and it changes how we connect with one another. So I am a big believer that the universe is always working for your good, and to not quit going, always keep trucking. So that's a little bit about me, and always
Right.
happy to be here with my big brother and my big sister, two of the most beautiful souls that I know too.
Wow, wonderful. I am William Brown. I am a husband of 30 years, going on 31.
Mm.
I have four adult children. And there's a lot of things. I'm on the journey. There's this one quote that talks about, we're just on our journey, our journey back home. But there's just really embracing that. There's a lot of things that don't make sense in my life, but
Mhm.
I'm willing to make sense to it, right? And just to be in the conversation to figure out, not just why I'm here, but what I'm called to do. So, and I am so honored and privileged to do it with these beautiful souls that I got, not are just friends, but are sisters, or just, I don't know. It's
Mhm.
just partners in crime, just like all of
Yeah,
it, right? All of
that part.
it.
We got
That
that
part.
right. Partners
That
in
part.
crime, all right.
So, yeah, so our topic for today is stop looking for beautiful people, look for beautiful souls. And so since we have the soul doctor
Yeah.
here, we're going to let the soul doctor kind of facilitate this conversation and get and kind of help us really connect to those beautiful souls.
Yes, this is like, when I saw that topic, I was like, oh, this is gonna be one of my favorite talks.
Yeah.
Because before I even go further, I wanted to launch with a poem that I wrote at 16 years old. And as
Got
in
it.
my 360, I mean, it's in my Precious Thoughts from the Soul, my first ever book I wrote in 2007. But when I was 16 years old, or maybe 15, I wrote this poem and it's called Beauty. It says, when you say I'm beautiful, what do you really mean? Are you talking about my physical or what you've seen within? It's not that I don't appreciate the compliment when you talk about my face, but for me, that only gives me the characterization of your taste. But when you say to me, I'm beautiful, I much rather you be talking about my mind, heart, and spirit. Not only just the physical, but the qualities within it. When you say to me, I'm beautiful, I want you to be talking about my inside and out. So when you
Mm,
think about me, it's more than my face you think about. I want you to think about how I brighten up your day, how I put a smile on your face with just the things I say, how you can come to me no matter what's going on in your life, because you know I'm always here to give you some advice. I want you to think about how I love Jesus Christ, and I wouldn't be who I am if he wasn't in my life. So when you say to me, I'm beautiful, I want you to be talking about my whole well being. Because when you call someone beautiful, you have to know there is much more meaning. So do me a favor. Don't tell me I'm beautiful if you're not talking about the whole me, because it's more than just the way I look, but it's the qualities you see. Because beauty is not anything if it's not to the core. And if you look a little deeper, I'm sure you'll appreciate my beauty much more. And
mm.
so I
Wow.
think that this topic kind of taps onto that the spirit of where I was, having come from a background of molestation, and so you really want people to see beyond the physical, right? You want them to see
Hmm.
the you, right? And so when I think about beautiful people, right? Everybody's looking for. We live in a world where people invest in vanity and not insanity, right? And beautiful
Wow.
souls, right? It's a mindset. And so when we live abundant lives, right? And when I just today, oh my God, this is not on accident, but just today I was looking up, I have the wealthy, WELLTHY, to become thy well, but everybody is looking for wealthy, WEALTHY. So this morning God put in my spirit to look up the word well, WEAL, which is the beginning of wealthy. And it said that it was to have brokenness, right? It says that it had to be, a
Mm.
will was wounded, it was scars. And so I'm saying, to be wealthy, that means you arrive in abundance, but with scars, right? Because it cost you something. And so when I think about the beautiful souls, I think about the mindset that still has a sense of hope, who have a sense of peace, who have a sense of forgiveness. And for me, forgiveness means being able to open up the door for somebody else, right? To not close the door, so to say that, oh, that person hurt me, so I'm never going into a relationship. To say that, I lost that baby, so I won't ever try to have a baby again, right? It is to resurrect from those dead situations, to be a soul survivor as we are
Right.
already survivors. And so when I think about a beautiful soul, I think about a beautiful mind. A mind that renews daily, right? Like the word says, a mind that is open to possibilities, a mind that remembers the way the body won, right? And so we actually make ourselves able to be confronted, right? I can confront you when you have a sense of peace. And so
Right.
if I am in a state of looking on the outside and not really listening to the inside, sometimes we get into spaces where we address people's, I guess, the tree and not the roots, as I would say. And so anytime somebody offends us, or anytime we see something that maybe doesn't level up to what we want, we forget what it means to have a beautiful soul. It means that we have to be open to make room for to see from where their perspective is. And I think
Right.
that's a hard thing to do given the conditions of what we go through and what we feel. So what do you guys feel about what I'm saying?
Well, other than the beautiful poem that you shared, that's the
Yes.
first time I heard that, and I think and I think the first thing that came up for me is like, you know, you how you had access to yourself at a young age. And I
Mm,
think in some cases, you know, maybe it's the traumas, maybe it's the circumstances that, you know, give us access to ourselves, and that helps us, you know, get through it, right? You know,
mm-hmm.
we sometimes we look at a lot of other things. So I just wanted to acknowledge you for that, and really being
Thank
able,
you.
it's like, because there's a level of, for me, I want to like grow, right, and move forward and everything like that. And it's like, you know, when I was a child, I spoke like a child, act like a child, and not, you know, and now I'm a man, whatever. How, you know how they say it, and sometimes we miss that who we are, our soul, is it. There's no age, right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Yes.
And so when we get access to that, we can be in any situation. You know, we can, you know, we can really handle
Mm,
that. So that's what I got. And I think, I don't want to say I have, you know, I'm just like, it's like I'm admitting being human, right? But there's so often I was just looking at beauty, looking for a beautiful person, something, you know, beautiful words, you know, and it's like when they were missing, like, you know, if someone doesn't fix their face, it's like, oh, they're not beautiful anymore, right? You know, if
mm,
somebody, you know, if someone says a
yeah.
side word, now they're not beautiful anymore.
Mm,
And so I was looking, it felt like I was looking and listening at the wrong place, right? You know,
mm,
because beyond all of that, that's where they are. And too often I was getting stopped at the beautiful words and the beautiful,
mm,
you know, the beautiful looks and all, you know, and the image of what I think of how a beautiful
mm,
person should show up. Um, and um, and I don't know if it's our society conditioning or our humanity that, you know, that causes me to get stopped, you know, there.
mm,
And so I'm so glad that there is a distinction between the two, and I got it from your poem, and I got it from, you know, this topic here.
mm,
I love the poem too, and I love the book, by the way. I was trying to promote while you were
Right,
there.
right.
Her book's got bookmarks and stuff in there. Her business cards are in there for bookmarks in some spots, but there's too many good poems in this book. Um, all right. So beauty to me, that's actually where I went first with the whole statement of stop looking for beautiful people, look for beautiful souls.
mm,
Um, I already knew Precious was going to hit the soul thing head on. So
Mm,
I'm like, let's look elsewhere for something. So I went with beauty, and I looked up the definition, which I'll share because it went along with, you know, kind of my instant take on beauty. I was thinking like, all right, when somebody says something's beautiful, it's always a comment towards the physicality on the outside. You
mhm,
say like, oh, look at that beautiful flower. Oh, look at that beautiful
mm,
building. Look at the beautiful clouds. It's how it looks, right?
right.
So I
mm,
was just curious if there was tiers to beauty. So I went checking the definition out, and the first definition says it is a combination of qualities such as shape, color, or form that please the aesthetic senses, especially the sight. Um,
mm,
so that kind of goes on this whole outwardly thing. I mean,
Mhm,
it says especially the senses of sight. I mean, I guess
mhm,
something can feel beautiful, something can smell beautiful if you go with all
mhm,
the senses. But I think that just we are geared up, like you guys were saying, to beauty is on the outside. You know that saying, beauty is only skin deep. That one's been
mhm,
around forever. You know what I
mm,
mean? And if you look at society and like the magazines and things that they put out, like everybody's got to be so perfect and skinny and made up, and
Yeah.
that has been a thing for even since I was growing up, people worrying about, what us young girls and young boys are going to be trying to gear up to do, because that's all that's put out there, but that's promoted as beauty. I like this topic here because it takes it and flips the script and puts it inward. And I will say, like, just as a funny, just to really show you how misconstrued the beauty thing is. I just wrote this down as y'all were talking. I've got my notes going. But, another example of the beauty thing, like, if I were to be like, I don't know, whatever conversation you're having, like, oh, she is such a beautiful, you're trying to set somebody up on a date, and like, oh, she's a beautiful person. And then when they get together, she's like, maybe not on the outside, everything that you're beautiful, but like, she's the best person on earth. But if you tell somebody someone else is beautiful, they're going to expect X, Y,
right.
Z, and not automatically go to like, oh, she must be an amazing person. That's the first thing I'm going to expect, is this wonderful personality. Forget what she looks like. The first thing you're going to think is like, oh, she must look like a model. Hopefully she's cool. You know what I mean? So it's kind of great. Like, I don't know. I discovered with just looking up that definition of beauty, how we're just immediately gravitated towards the outward side of it.
The outward.
And then to like circle around to something that Bill, you commented about Precious's poem. You said traumas give us access to ourselves, and I totally agree with that. Because as just individual people, I don't know anybody out there who actively goes looking for trauma in their life. Like, man, I need a shake up in life. Let me go get traumatized. You know what I mean? I need a shift. Let me traumatize myself. I need to open the door. We don't go actively looking for that stuff, but if we don't experience those moments, those trudging through the mud, those valley moments, the fighting, fighting for air, reaching for a rope, those crawling with your every last bit of strength moments, we never discover what we're capable of. We need those tests and those trials to discover how strong and what we can become through those moments, and then utilize. And then there's the next step up. And part of that, I think, attributes to the beauty of our souls. Our traumas do attribute to the beauty we become because of them. So I know that was a lot there, but that's where I stand.
No, I got it.
And I was gonna say, Melissa, when you were talking about even the dating thing, it just made it ring a bell how when I say it's not in your DNA, it's in your CNA, SEENA. And then William, when we were talking about, just what we go through and how we develop into that. So even the conversations is what make us realize that we learn stuff different, is the seed that was planted. And so if you were raised in a family where beauty was found in how people showed up, then that's how you see beauty. And often when somebody's going to set you up, you haven't even taken the time to pay attention to what beauty looks like to that person. Because somebody may find a rose pretty and somebody may find a cactus pretty, depending on their site, right? And so in being a relationship, right, you go to the date and you got to expect that when this person is saying, oh my God, they are beautiful, that they are, they're coming from an inside, because the generic of that person, right? And then a person from their evidence that, they always are looking for superficial things. So I think sometimes we set ourselves up not to see the person who even is introducing us to things, because we know what beauty means to them, because we know them. And sometimes we fool ourselves into thinking it's something else, and you show up and you're like, well, I wasn't expecting that. But beauty to me is different than beauty to somebody else. And I don't think we even stop to say, what do you mean she's beautiful? Do you mean like she's drop dead gorgeous? Do you mean that she has depth? She has, substance? Like, do you mean by beauty, so that you don't go on a date with an expectation of thinking you're gonna see the next top
Beyonce,
model,
you
and
know?
you're really getting, the professor, right? And so it's like
Right.
and then when you go with a different expectation, you don't leave disappointed because you
Right.
already have room. So I think clarity before you get places will make the conversations better, even with the beautiful soul conversation, right? Like
And
truth,
what about
authenticity.
that phrase? You guys know the quote, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So it's all
Period.
perspective,
It
It's
is.
Right.
like it's all
Mm-hmm.
about you. It's an opinionated thing.
It's
Beauty
a
is an
taste.
Right.
opinion. It
Right.
exists.
Yeah.
It is a real thing, but it's all about
Mm-hmm.
who's looking at it. I
Right.
feel like
Mm-hmm.
that got brought up last week in our conversation. It's all about who's looking at it, who's watching,
Right. Right. And
so
and
that's
what you're saying, there was something else when you guys were sharing that came up for me that I have to think about it, right?
right.
The It's like, what are you looking for? That's what
Mm.
All right, that
that
part.
just
I
came
didn't
to
even
me,
think about that. What the
right?
looking part? All right, let me
Right.
flip the
And
notebook over.
and it is that, when I'm looking for beauty, am I going to stop
Mm.
at what I see, or am I going to keep looking, right?
Mm.
There is something more, and it's not
Dig deeper.
right, and it's not looking for people saying the right words or the thing, because
Mm.
um sometimes beautiful people have moments, right?
Mm.
But
Right.
right? um but it's like there has been some times where I'm just like in the presence of someone, and it's like, I don't know why you haven't said much, but there is something. So it's like, I would really and it's not like, I want to, like, stay around so I can find something wrong, right?
Right.
But it is that, because it's on this soul level,
Mm.
that because I know beyond our labels, beyond our looks and all that, there are these connections. And I think the more that I ask myself the question, what am I looking for? Am I looking for another pretty face, right? Am I looking for someone to say pretty words, and beautiful words, or I'm just going to just show up and allow the energies to do what they do, and it's like, okay. And because there are some people, that I don't know if I'm not ready to be around them, or I don't need to be around them, or it's like
Mm-hmm.
there's something, there is this dis-ease with them, that it's just like, okay,
Disease. Come on
right,
now. But go ahead.
and it's just like, okay, I don't know why. It's nothing, you said all the right things, right? But
Mm.
you're I don't need to be around you. And it's like, sometimes I think, when the question of, what is a beautiful person,
Mm.
and I think, for me, it seems like, the looks and the behavior, right? If
Mm-hmm.
something is, if somebody is not always got their looks together, right? Or if
Right.
someone doesn't have these certain type of curated words that they say, then their beauty is in question. And I just got this image of, like, a rose, because I always say a rose, and flowers are beautiful. It's like they're just doing what they do, right? Right?
Right.
Doing what they do.
Right? It's just like, give me some water, some sunlight, and here you go,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And we're good.
Mm-hmm. I
Right?
am. I am that I am. That's
Right.
right. That's right.
And it's like, so often, like you were saying, Melissa, in our society, we put all these things to kind of make ourselves beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You see, you see, you
Right?
see all this to
Right?
make
Mm-hmm.
it, you know, acceptable. This I wouldn't even call this glamour or beauty. It's just like, this is acceptable to show up like this. If I don't,
Mm-hmm.
you will, most people, anybody joining in, there will be a bunch of those people like, look at this girl, so lazy, she can't even put her
Right.
freaking earrings in
Right.
for the
Right.
show.
Are
You
you
know what I
camera
mean?
ready? Right. We got to be
There's
camera ready. Right.
expectations. And if I can, I had a download while you were talking. Or did you have anything to say right at the moment, Precious?
Oh no, I got something that's gonna follow. You can jump. Yeah, I was just
Okay.
gonna say
I don't want to
yeah.
interrupt the flow, but
No,
I
go
had a
ahead, bro.
download when you were talking, William, that okay, so we started this out. Well, when I started talking, it was kind of like on this whole beauty's on the outward and the physicality and all that.
Mhm.
Now, like we're shifting into looking at the soul. I wrote this down. It's like, okay, so beauty is the opinion. How do we apply this to the soul? Are these set stipulations that we have for beauty on the outward, like
Mhm.
hair, makeup, hygiene, things like
Vanity.
that? Do is it all right? So it's like on the physical world, it's more about your opinion, what I think, how I view it. But when it comes to looking at the soul, what makes a beautiful soul, I'm thinking like it can't really be about opinion there because I feel like
Mm.
there are set things that make a beautiful soul. You can't be like a murderer and be a beautiful soul, you know what I mean? Like you got to fill some
But you can
boxes.
become a beautiful soul
You
after you
can.
murdered. So there's
Right.
room
Mm.
in beauty.
So there's
And
box.
so
I,
that's
I
it.
feel like with the soul, there's like you can check them boxes off, and if you don't, you wouldn't be considered a beautiful soul. I don't know. I feel like it's less opinionated when it comes to the soul, and it's more opinionated when it comes to the body, the shell,
Right. The
the
physicality. Right. Mhm.
physicality. Yeah. So I don't
Right.
know. That's what I was just kind of like. So
Hmm.
I throw that at you, Precious, because you're the soul doctor. I mean, where
And
do
I
you
got
feel on
something
that?
for you.
Come on,
Because
girl. I'm ready.
when
I'm
y'all was
ready.
talking, you know what I wrote down? I said, beauty is a feeling. It's the space of grace something puts you in,
Hmm.
right? And so that's why it is up for interpretation because beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and everybody's eye and vision is worthy of beholding for the space
Hmm.
that they're in. And so I may look and describe a flower as the most beautiful thing I've ever seen because of the beauty of nature that that wells up
Right.
in who I am, right? And I might
Hmm.
read a poem and describe it as the most beautiful thing I've ever seen because of the
Right.
beauty of nature of grace, the space in which I hold grace in is the thing that's gonna make me look at the most, right? And so if I've always felt like, putting myself together and making sure I put my best foot forward, right? And that I look the part when I show up. So I welcome you into my space. Then I may adorn myself with crowns and jewels. Why? Because
Right.
I want to bring you in, and that is the thing that, makes you so beautiful. And so I think that's why God said he will make
Right.
us fisher of men, because everybody will have a different definition on beauty, but it's just a
Hmm.
feeling, just a place that you go to that makes you know that he is God, that makes you look in wonder of joy, of love, and just makes you feel good to be in that moment. And so I
Right.
think it wakes us up to get over the things that we cannot change, because when something is that beautiful, as I said, I always say the who may kill you, but the what will heal you. I learned that because I can separate the sin from the person, right? I can separate what I've been through from the person who did it. And that's beauty, right? That is the grace of the space of the
Hmm.
resurrection of what it, like you said, Melissa, it's what you get from it that you become,
Right.
right? And so becoming is learning why things are so beautiful, is deciding
Mhm.
that I'm no longer going to buy beauty, but I'm going to invest in beauty, right? It's saying that I'm going to change the way I see things so I can change how I work, so I can change
Right.
what I receive. But that's what makes it beautiful. The lessons in life that we turn into our blessings are what's beautiful, because then I get to be a soul print. I get to teach you something about my soul that makes you say, wow, that was beautiful. And so when we get to live in our truth, it becomes beauty for the person who gets to witness it.
She said, I'm not going to buy beauty. I'm going to be beauty.
Right.
That's right.
Okay. Oh, you know, I guess here's another soul question. It's like, um, can our souls be um,
ugly.
dampered. Or,
Absolutely.
our can be hurt or something. Do we get access to that? Because it's like there's a part of me was thinking like that. I had this image like when we say I have a broken you broke my heart, right? I'm just using that as an analogy, and it's like on some level I felt like you can't break my heart, but you can bruise my heart. You can
Mm-hmm.
cause there is some damage that needs to be repaired, but it's never broken, right? Um, and so with that I was like, is that the case with my soul, that there is
Mm-hmm.
if can I protect my soul, can my soul be protected even without my awareness of it? Do you understand what I mean? There may things that will come close to it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not going to it's
But
not going to be altered. I'm just trying to, like I said,
no,
I
I
just went down a
understand what you're
rabbit hole, right?
saying. No, 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 no. I totally understand what you're saying because I actually did a whole series in the very beginning of I Choose Me, and it was called Makeup on Your Soul.
Hmm.
And a lot of people are, makeup on your soul is when you hide the things that you've endured and you don't tell your story. That's why I say remove the shame and get in your lane. Because when you have shame on what you've been through, right, that is the makeup on your soul. And so many of us have that picture, and behind that picture, it's like if I put this big picture up and I put it on there, there's a hole behind it. Remember when we spoke about that? And so that whole idea of knowing your beauty or being tempered in it is almost like having an image or a persona of being okay when you still have healing to do. And so I'm making myself available to you when I'm really not available to myself, right? It's being dumb, right? And so I'm really unavailable, but I'm standing and holding space. And so to be in a space and be unavailable is to be false advertisement. And so
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we go on as business as usual, right? That's why I said now it's time for a refill station because we act like we got it all together. But the minute somebody says something, it goes right through the picture. And it's like,
Right.
well, how did you crumble like that when you look so strong and you look so put together and you look like you got it? It's because it was the makeup that I was showing you. And that
Right.
there were scars that I hadn't even dealt with. There were wounds, right? Wealthy,
Right.
the wounds to thyself, right? And so I got all this abundance and I can create a picture around me, but yet I'm suffering in silence because there is makeup on my soul. I haven't really dealt with those things. I really haven't dealt with my mind. And so I hadn't taken out those lies that they told me. I hadn't
Right.
actually gotten it from the root. And so I guarded myself by mowing the lawn, but not really digging out that thing where I can see the roots to why I feel like this. And so I think until you actually go back to the beginning, right? And actually deal with that feeling that came up in you, then you're really just cutting down the tree and not really taking out that root. And so you
Right.
continue to eventually it rains, right? And
Mm.
what happens with makeup in the rain? You don't have a
Runs.
Yeah.
waterproof
Right.
makeup on your soul. And
It
so when it
runs.
starts to rain, then it runs. And as it's running, you're in tears and you're feeling like a fraud and you're feeling so weak because you hadn't addressed the things that you put makeup on. And so
Mm.
many of us go through life like that. I had to unpack a lot of my stuff, right? I'm still unpacking stuff because there were a lot of things that I had to put makeup on to feel better about myself. And then when something hits me and it goes through the wall, I have to say, oh my God, that is actually, I have covered it up for so long that I didn't realize that I hadn't even healed. I haven't even dealt with the scar. And so
Right.
until I deal with the scar, why am I putting on makeup on the scar when it tells my story? And so until you are really living in the truth of what it took you, right? Until you tell your story, God will never get the glory. You actually have makeup on your soul because what your experience is what gives somebody else room to get over the bridge, right? I made you to be the answer. So as long as you lie about the solution or the problems you had to work out, then how can you ever be the answer for them to interject their own example and apply the variables? So that's that makeup on our soul that many of us wear, and we are taking it off day by day. The more
Got
we
it.
feel confident in our I am.
Wow. Hmm.
I love the makeup on the soul bit.
Yeah, I need to sit
That's
with that.
Reminds
2016.
me of
I
my
look,
days.
2016. I choose me.
Right.
It
Wow.
reminds me, and I've shared this on things past too. Like, I mean, I know, I mean, the makeup on the soul doesn't always have to refer to long term situations. I
Hmm.
remember when I was in my serving days and I had to show up and wait on 15 tables of strangers and show up with the best. And I could have gotten dumped that morning, or my dad walked out of my life, or I got evicted from my apartment, or
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? But to show up and to mask and put makeup on,
Right.
literally makeup on, not just my face, but on my feelings, my
Come
soul,
on now.
my
Right.
reality, and to show up to be, hey, let me look beautiful for you so you have a beautiful experience.
Especially
So right now,
Right.
uh, it's all muck up in
men.
here. It don't feel good putting makeup on the soul.
Right.
It doesn't feel really good
Especially.
putting it on your face either. So, especially in the heat.
Great.
You made me think about when you watch a movie, you see the abusive relationship, right? And they don't wear makeup every day, but they wear makeup just for the couple of days until the bruising goes down,
Cover the
right?
bruises.
Because
Yep.
I just need to cover that immediate thing that everybody will
Mm,
recognize. They will recognize me immediately if I went out with this scar. But if I can learn to cover it up until I deal with it, then they'll never figure it out, right? They'll believe as I show up.
wow.
When I really need them, I can't even say it because I got to be stronger than I am, right? I got to be that person that somebody depends on. And so we do cover it up until we feel confident about telling the story. That's why I said until your mess can age, you can't have a message,
Message.
right?
Yeah.
It
Wow.
requires your mess to age for your message. And so it's okay to wear the makeup on your soul. That's why I come for you to work on the stuff that you are suffering in silence about. Go through the secret healing so that you can say, I used to wear makeup, but I don't anymore. I had
Right.
to heal. This scar came from that, and that came from that. And then that's when you become a beautiful person because
Right.
your soul is now allowing other people to see that beauty is how you see yourself, not how everybody else sees you.
Right.
It is the
You know,
mirror.
there is something. There's like I'm like I said. There's a lot of things that are that are happening over here. I don't know if you can see it in my face, but the thing it was like the cover up, and I think that's why it's hard. It feels like it's hard for me to see the soul, right?
Mm,
See beautiful
mm.
souls because we are so conditioned to cover it up.
Come on now.
We are so
Ah.
there is this cover up that I need to this
Mm,
is how I'm feeling, this is what's going on, I need to cover that up. And we
mm,
when we're covering things up, um, we feel like we're hiding and we're not
mm.
connected, right? Right,
Yes.
so I mean, so it's like
Mm,
I'll speak for myself,
And there's
but I'm
shame there too.
yeah.
mm-hmm.
Shame that when you're covering stuff up.
Remove the
And I
shame
know
and get.
that's the big message for you, Precious. But like, I don't know.
Mm,
My mom says
mm,
all the time to me, I have a shame problem. I'm like, she's like, why don't you say that to the doctor? Why didn't you do this? I'm like, because shame, you know.
Right.
mm-hmm.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, shame's associated with that.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
it's the I was saying before for the show there is this sense of I don't want to say it's not overwhelm because it's like the song blessings on blessings on blessings. There's a
Mm,
lot of things that
yeah.
I am grateful for, and that is just it's like abundance. But there is
Mm,
this I've noticed within myself. I became aware within myself that there is put the brakes on. This is too much.
mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Stop it. Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like I want to let that go and just kind of go, go with the flow, go with the
Right.
blessing
Mm,
flow, go with the
mm,
and I think that um as a child, I was always there. A lot of people would say, "Oh, I look like I have my head on straight. I
mm,
sound like I have my head on straight. All of these
mm,
things." And I'm trying to keep up that appearance when my head ain't on straight, right? Right?
mm,
And right, and it is that covering
mm,
up that
mm,
causes people not to see me. Like,
mm.
And then I'm
Mhm.
upset because they don't see me, but I cover
Right.
up.
That part.
Right.
But there is like, sometimes it's like, okay, is this me or is this me? Oh yeah, that's a cover. Okay, well, let's take that.
It gets
But
Mm-mm-mm.
confusing after a minute. You
right,
know, it can get confusing. Where do
and
I fall in all this?
right, and so I get to
Mm.
really, I think what I heard Precious say area earlier is that the emotions, right, the feeling,
Mhm.
the really being able to sit with my feelings and see and feel. It's kind of interesting that I said be with the emotions and see, and I meant feel, to kind of get. I'm trying to integrate all of my emotions, but I notice that there are some emotions that you, you know um, that I give more credit to. Let's just say that, right?
Mhm.
Right.
There are many times when I really want to listen, especially to my wife. I have to close my eyes. I have to close my eyes because I want to just hear what she's saying, because
Right.
sometimes the animation, it's like, okay, what's that all about? Right?
That's like Rondell. The soul
Right.
safe doctor and Precious, my wife, are two different people.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
I said
And
exactly. Separate the gift from the person.
That's
right.
it.
And so really wanting to just be with the feelings and being with them,
Mhm.
hearing and being with that, and not allowing the cover-ups,
Mm.
to get in the way of really connecting to beautiful souls,
Mm.
and um, that's what's coming up for me right now. It's just like it's like the cover up, the great cover up, the
Yeah.
cover ups that we have. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't spend any money on mascara and makeup and all that kind of stuff, but I'm sure the cover up, that's how much is that compared to the actual makeup? Is that
Right.
the cover of the blemishes
Okay.
and
Come on now. It's
right, yeah,
expensive.
right.
And I
Yeah.
just buy lipstick and I can see my expense. So I
Right.
could imagine having the whole cast. Oh, I would have been left if I did all the makeup, honey. I'd be almost getting left from lipstick. Like, hold on, I'm coming.
Oh
I
boy.
Woo!
see you got your book out. You got something
I
beautiful to
do
share
because
with
I
us.
got a poem for
Everything you write is
y'all.
beautiful, inward and outward. It just totally works in the category on either side of the spectrum. So
As we were
grace us with your words, sis.
talking, I am. As we were talking, I thought about my poem called "Hole in Your Soul." I
Hmm.
think it's befitting for such a topic. Um, it says, "America has a hole in your soul for your yearning to see in everyone else who you wish you could be. We are so caught up in an image that our self-esteem is losing the race, for we are searching everywhere but in the mirror to see our own face. Yes, our face, the person who God breathes life in from day to day. We're so caught up in other images that we can't find our own way. We are not being taught to embrace and love whom we are, and the impact is making us lose ourselves by far. Who am I ask you? I don't even know because I'm struggling with this hole I have embedded in my soul. You ask me, what's the hole that I speak about? It's the insecurities we embrace and our whole being that we doubt. Why am I so skinny, so fat, so ugly, so misused? I've been lied about, molested, so hurt to the point I want to walk in your shoes. There's a hole in my soul, and you ask, how could this be? But the answer is so simple. I've never had anyone validate me. You see, youth are losing their innocence at a very young age, and the outcome of this is sending their spirit into rage. Nowadays, after the hole is there, the soul is getting bigger, and all it is doing is making them pull the trigger, pulling the
Hmm.
trigger on their hopes and dreams and values of their life. And they are fulfilling the hole with the lost ambitions and the pain of all their strife.
Hmm.
America's got a hole in your soul, and only God can heal your heart. And all He asks is for your true self, and He can grant you a brand new start. So the hole in your soul can only be filled when you begin to love who God created you to be, because you will never find yourself if you are ashamed of what you see. Tell yourself every day that you're special and in God's image there is none like you. And never forget to be true to yourself in everything you do. And so I wrote that, probably
Wow.
15,
We
20
got
years
we
ago.
got tears
20
by
years ago, but I
episode
think that
2.
it
She's
still
wet.
matters. 20 years later, that poem,
Hmm.
I think it's still relevant, because that's the world that we're falling into, that nobody, and that's why I Choose Me was created, is because like you are looking outward when God gave you everything you need. And so I think that when we begin to understand that a beautiful soul is your ability to rise, to be better than you were before, to get
Right.
up from the things that you even had shame on speaking. There are so many unspoken pains that and scars that we will never share. But I want people to remember that for themselves, so they can know that you are worth knowing, that you are somebody amazing, that you are a beautiful soul, because there is beauty, there is grace for the space that you had to be in to be who you became. And so it's just embracing it all and knowing that you're worth it.
Mm.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Oh, wow. Thank you very much. Um, I didn't realize, like, when we were looking at this topic, that, because I, got this download a few weeks ago, that really getting connected to your soul, right?
Hmm.
What that means, and the importance of that, and not, um, stopping right at
Hmm.
at skin level,
That's right.
and what I see, and it's like, I can say the one reason why I kind of over manage my emotions is because I didn't know what was going to come out,
Mm.
Yeah.
tears, and, or anything. It's like, because of the image of, a man or a boy, you got to be a certain way. And it's like, I
Mm.
don't. And I
You
think
don't.
that's
Mm.
the more that we can just
Mm.
be, right,
Yeah.
we can, um, it's not even because, and maybe this is also a soul, doctor question. It's like, we're not filling the holes, in our soul, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are
Mm.
allowing the soul to basically come back together. I mean, to just kind of,
Mm-hmm.
we're,
Yes.
because if I feel it, I will fill it with, with things I think I need or want, or and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. And it's like, no,
Mm.
just okay. There's a hole. Now just kind of let's, you know, just let it go. And I think that's, like I said, the access that you've had to yourself for so long. That's, I mean, that's the doctorate, right?
That's the
Right,
doctor. That's why
right,
I'm a
Right.
right,
doctor now.
right, right.
Thank you. Yes, that's
Uh,
the why. When heaven yelled, that's the why.
Right.
right,
The wisdom hat is the what. That's why I say I'm no longer a coach. I have definitely got my doctrine in this one, because it
right,
is never ending, always new. And it's like God is so amazing. And the more you open yourself up to yourself, the more He gives you of it. And it's real and it feels good.
right.
Oh yeah. The feel part.
The feel
Yeah.
part.
That's
Yeah.
all of it right there. I
Hmm.
gotta remember to start stocking some tissues away in my desk drawer again. This is episode 2 and I'm already been done for.
Right,
I have
right.
to have a box in the desk drawer moving forward.
Right. Well, I have to put that in the descriptions.
Great, precious.
Come watching the
Come
show
bring your
with
tissues.
tissue. Bring your
Bring your
tissues.
tissues,
You're
bring
right.
your
Oh,
cocktails, bring the lunch, whatever.
We
right.
Bring your
never know what
breakfast.
onions we're gonna peel.
Wherever you're watching from, bring whatever makes you feel good. You know.
Right. Right. So, yeah, it's go there. It's for me. I'm like sitting with so much stuff, and it's like, I don't know. It's like it's like, are we done? I mean, this is an ongoing conversation, but is this setting done right now? Because it's like no more. You know, you want to push the plate away,
I
Yeah,
right?
like,
You
I
know,
can't take
process.
it. No,
You gotta.
stop
There
the
was a
ball.
lot. There was a
right,
lot. There's always a lot with this. You
right,
gotta
No.
process that. Sit, marinate.
Yes.
As Sabrina says, you
As
gotta
Sabrina
marinate on
said,
it.
marinate on
Let
that.
it marinate, and then go through the motions a little differently.
And
right,
then
There's always more
replay. I
improvement
replay
ahead
them
of us.
all.
Right.
right. Absolutely.
I
And
had a suggestion though too. I
go
don't know.
ahead.
Maybe I should save this for the green room, but you
No,
know me.
no, go ahead. Hey, we know
Um,
you. That's why you're here. Go
Oh,
right.
ahead.
they can
So,
join in on our green room conversation,
yeah,
Melissa.
our pregame. We call it our pregame conversations. So like in a lot of the other shows, William, you used to do cards, but I was thinking since we have this new concept and way of things flowing, we all have our cards.
Right,
Like, I mean, whoever's topic it is that week, I think maybe either at the beginning or the end or the middle,
right,
probably not the middle, but beginning or the end of the show, we could leave our viewers with a card
right,
from each one of our spaces to kind of go along with the show and something to maybe reflect on until next week. So
right.
I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe if anybody's watching, if you want to comment and see if that's something you would be interested in, let us know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'd be cool. Everybody likes the cards. I love the cards.
I think I think the one thing that would be up and Precious hit a button. I think that has been my thing. You know, two shows and two times my I kind of tapped out for a second, but that's a wonderful thing about technology and doing it live.
Yes,
That it's great.
it's
But
real. You get
yeah,
the real with us.
the one thing that I like about your idea, Melissa, is that that's the free flowing, the free flowing part of it, and
Yeah,
spirit led. Of it's like if at any point within the conversation, then it's like, you know what, this is a card moment,
Mhm.
or
yep.
I
This
feel
is the
led
time.
to do this, and that's I am good, and I am up for that, and I think like I said, because it's ongoing, because
Yeah,
Mhm.
this is something, and so yeah, so I'm excited about how these conversations unfold,
Mhm.
and be of benefit to a lot of
Mhm.
different people. So
yes.
as we are coming up on our hour time, um, we'll start with Precious. Um, Tell us anything that, I mean, you, like I said, we'll do the replay. You know to definitely. But is there anything that has come up within this conversation that you want to leave people with? And I have your contact information on the screen, but just let people know how they can get in touch with the doctor.
Oh, wow.
The
I
soul sage
the
doctor.
soul sage doctor. I'm so excited because I'm working on my soul nursing programs, right? And so that we can get the mentor of the soul, right? The mindset is all it is, right? Renewing your mind daily. But I just want to say, start to do inventory on what it means to be a beautiful person,
Mhm.
and that you look for the outside last, right? Because like they say, beauty is only skin deep, but ugly is to the bone. And
Right.
so
Woo! Whoa!
sometimes we
That's
have
right. I got you
to
there. That part.
so sometimes we have to reintroduce the definitions that were introduced to us, right? Because we get to rewrite our story by our understanding. And so when we get new understanding, it is our responsibility to apply that information, because they often say knowledge is power, but I say applied knowledge is transformation. And so the
Right.
transformation comes when you're willing to sit in that hot seat from Sunday to Sunday on these ongoing conversations, and you start to say, I never thought about it like that. And how does thinking about it like this change the trajectory of my life, and most importantly, the spirit that I'm trying to nurture. And so we have taken care of each other long enough. We have taken care of our bosses long enough, our children, our wives. And God wants to know, when are we going to take care of the thing that matters the most to Him, which is us? Because self care is selfless, right? It's not careless. And so we got to begin to treat
Mm,
ourselves good in order to treat our neighbors, because it would be inauthentic of you to treat somebody better than you're treating yourself if God says to treat your neighbor as yourself. And so maybe we have to revisit the ways that people introduce these words to us, find a new definition and apply it so that we can be the beautiful souls that we were created to be, so we can welcome people into their transition like somebody welcomed us in. It was because
right.
somebody was loving and nice to us
Mm,
that we showed up. And when people get it to the point from the people who hurt them, it was to prove them wrong, not right. And so the strongest of these is love. And so we can love on ourselves first. We can become the beautiful souls and realize that it is a relay race and somebody is relying on us to turn our heartbeat into a soul beat in order to leave our soul print. Because the fingerprint tells them what you got wrong in this world, but the soul print, it tells them what you got right. And what God got right is you. So I want you to remember that when you leave this conversation and you begin to think, what does it mean to be a beautiful soul? How can I become a more beautiful person in this world? And how can I serve? And that's what I
mm.
want to leave with you guys today.
Wow. Wow.
Yay,
Thank you.
Queen. Thank you
Wow.
for leading us today. My
Wow.
goodness.
Mhm.
Ah,
Yeah. And
well,
Melissa?
I'll say my takeaway was kind of the battle between, or the balance between, rather, outward beauty and
Mm,
inward beauty. And I would say condition yourself to look
mm.
past the makeup.
Hmm,
Okay.
right.
Condition yourself to look for the beauty in the soul. And also,
That's
when
right.
when somebody else is telling you you're not beautiful, remember that there's layers of beauty, and that's an
Mm,
opinion based thing. Not everybody in the world is going to think you're beautiful for
Mm,
how you look and how you dress and the things that you wear. It's
mm,
not, but every soul was created beautiful. And
right.
although we might get a little damaged along the way, a little disheveled and unpolished, and need to like
mm.
do some soul buffing, you know what I mean? You're still beautiful. And that's what matters, is what's on the inside. So
Right.
remember how beautiful you are, just the way you were created, and make sure you're conditioning yourself to look past that in other people. You know, a lot of
Mm,
times when we have these conversations, this, you know, if you guys didn't see last week's episode, our first episode was, are you crazy, dumb, or just stupid? If you've never taken the time to look up what crazy, dumb, and stupid mean, actually, I
mm,
encourage you to do it. We have these conversations and we learn the different layers of the words and the meanings
mm.
of it, and how we actually abuse the words a lot of the time
Right.
and use them out of context a lot of the time. So
Mhm,
I just I pray that this meeting from all of us actually opened up somebody's heart and mind, and also gave some
mm,
empowerment and confidence and whatnot. And like I said, I learned some lessons today in the way that I was viewing beauty and the way that everybody else kind of
mm,
collectively views beauty outwardly. And because now I learned my lesson on the balance and the difference between the two, I'm going to change how I do things and therefore leave a great legacy behind. So
Wow.
I am the
Wow.
lady
mm,
of legacy, Melissa Price, and
mm.
I am so happy to be here like every week. And I will see you guys next Sunday at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. for what's the topic? It's about legacy. So I'll be your girl
Oh
next
yeah,
week.
live your legacy is next week, so it's
So
kind of good from
yes.
there. And I was going to put that up, but I think that the one thing that there's two things that have been sitting with me, and I shared it. Those, one, what am I looking for, right? What
Mhm,
am I going to
mm,
stop at the physicality of it, or am I
mhm,
going to go deeper, right?
mhm,
And then the cover up. Where am I
mhm,
covering up? And
mm,
sometimes that cover um, is keeping me from seeing the beauty,
mhm,
Yep.
seeing me
mhm,
from
The
the
true
soul,
beauty,
mm,
the true beauty,
the soul beauty.
the soul
mm.
beauty,
The
right?
resilience. Come
The
on.
That's
beauty,
right.
right? And so it's like, um, don't stop.
Mm.
Don't stop at just what I see, because way beyond that
Mm.
um, is you is beautiful, and
Yeah.
I think that there's this expansiveness of beauty
Right.
that it's like, sometimes, for me, it's like pleasing to the eye is
Mm. Mm.
that's it.
That's it.
But
Mm-hmm.
beyond pleasing to the eye, can, like you were saying, it's like applied learning, right?
Right.
It's like it's
Mm-hmm.
transformation. If I get
Mm-hmm.
beyond it's just pleasing to the eye, then I can really show up fully in this
Mm-hmm.
world, and and, and have the grace and the space to allow beauty
Yeah.
to show up, and in the people that I'm interacting with.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So next week, live your legacy,
Oh.
Come on.
is the topic, and so yeah, I'm really excited about that, because I've shared some things about what how that shows up for me, and but I am so honored to have these conversations, and the tagline of speak from speak what's on your mind, from your soul, and leave your
Mm.
legacy, and
Mm.
that's what we do
Mm.
every week. So blessings, my,
Yeah.
and we'll see you next week
Have a good
on
week, guys.
Bye
ongoing
bye. Happy
conversation.
holidays. Don't labor too much tomorrow.
That's right. Labor Day.
Mm.